All right, my people, we have a breaking news, and this one is very heavy if you truly understand what is happening. According to most Nigeria media outlets, military planes are now landing in Maiduguri. Not one, not just a quick stop, multiple aircraft, C-17 military transport planes, the kind of planes that do not carry tourists, the kind that carry personnel, equipment, intelligence systems, and serious military support. And this is happening in Borno State. Before we go into the full details, please make sure you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any of our premium updates here on the channel. Also, please stay with me till the end of this video because we'll be exposing a lot of hidden secrets that most mainstream media won't put in public. Now back to the news. You see, Maiduguri is not just any city. That is the heart of Nigeria's fight against the insurgency. That is where Boko Haram and ISWAP activities have shaped security conversations for years. So, when American military aircraft begin landing there in phases, it is not a small routine cooperation. It is a strategic move. Officials are saying around 200 American personnel are part of this deployment. They are describing them as intelligence analysts, advisors, trainers, and technical support teams. They are also saying more planes will continue arriving in the coming weeks. Not days, weeks. That tells you this is not a one-time visit. This is a structured mission. Now, the Nigerian defense spokesman quickly came out to calm the public. He made it very clear that these U.S. personnel will not engage in combat operations. He stressed that Nigerian forces remain fully in charge. He said Nigeria retains command authority. He said all missions on Nigerian soil will still be led by Nigerian forces. That statement is important because anytime foreign troops enter a country, the first fear people have is loss of sovereignty. People start asking, are foreign soldiers now fighting our battles? Are we losing control of our own security decisions? So the government is already trying to manage that narrative before panic spreads. But let's slow down and look deeper at what is really happening. If US C-17 planes are landing with equipment, secure communication systems, base facilities, and operational support structures, that means they are preparing for sustained cooperation, not just training seminars in a conference room. This is field-level support, infrastructure-level support, intelligence-level collaboration, and the location tells the real story. Maiduguri is the front line against ISWAP and other insurgent groups that still control or influence large rural areas in Borno State. Even after years of military operations, insecurity in that region has not fully ended. Attacks still happen. Ambushes still occur. Communities still live under fear. So, when the US increases intelligence sharing and advisory presence there, it signals one thing clearly. The security threat in the Northeast is still considered serious at an international level. Now, some officials are saying this is part of a joint US-Nigeria working group recommendation. They are framing it as technical assistance, training, intelligence coordination, planning support. On paper, that sounds controlled and limited. But Nigerians are not blind to history. Anytime foreign military presence increases in a conflict zone, it raises big questions. Questions about long-term strategy, questions about dependency, questions about how deep the cooperation will eventually go. Another detail that many people are overlooking is the flight pattern. Reports show these aircraft were first landing in Accra, Ghana before moving into Nigeria. That is a strategic routing method. It shows coordination across West Africa, not just a direct isolated Nigeria mission. It suggests broader regional monitoring and planning. And then you hear analysts talking about the type of aircraft used and the possibility of heavy equipment being delivered. Some are even speculating about surveillance drones like MQ-9 Reaper drones and advanced military hardware. Even if not officially confirmed, the type of aircraft involved already tells you the equipment being moved is not light. These are not small cargo deliveries. These are serious logistical operations. Now let's talk about the government's reassurance that US troops will not take part in combat. That statement is meant to calm public fear, but it also needs to be understood carefully. Modern military cooperation does not always require direct combat to be impactful. intelligence support, surveillance technology, communication systems, and operational planning can shape battles without a single foreign soldier firing a shot. Advisors can influence strategy. Intelligence can determine targets. Technology can change the battlefield. So even without combat roles, their presence can significantly affect how counterterrorism operations are conducted. For ordinary Nigerians, especially those in the Northeast, this news will bring mixed emotions. Some will feel relief. They will think maybe stronger international support means better intelligence, better equipment, and more effective action against insurgents who have terrorized communities for years. Families who have lived through attacks, kidnappings, and displacement may see this as long overdue reinforcement, but others will feel uneasy. They will ask why Nigeria, after so many years of fighting insurgency, still needs foreign military advisory expansion. They will ask whether this shows progress or hidden weakness. They will question whether Nigeria's security institutions are being quietly supported because the threat is larger than publicly admitted. And that is a fair emotional reaction. Because the reality is, Boko Haram and ISWAP may not dominate headlines daily like before, but they have not disappeared. Rural control, ambushes, and targeted attacks still exist. Soldiers are still being lost. Civilians are still being displaced. Entire communities still depend heavily on military presence for survival. So when the US steps in with expanded advisory deployment, it may also signal that global intelligence assessments still see the Northeast as a high-risk zone. Another angle people must consider is geopolitics. Nigeria is the most strategic country in West Africa. Population, economy, and regional influence make it extremely important. When the US increases military cooperation here, it is not just about Nigeria alone. It is also about regional stability, counterterrorism in West Africa, preventing extremist groups from expanding influence across borders. We are talking about a region where insecurity in one country can quickly spread to neighboring nations. That is why the US has been increasing military activity across West Africa recently. Multiple aircraft landings across different locations show a wider regional security focus, not just a local mission. Now, the government says this mission is temporary. Temporary can mean many things in international security language. It can mean months. It can mean years, depending on how the security situation evolves. Many global military advisory missions start as temporary and then extend quietly based on operational needs. That is why transparency will be very important moving forward. Nigerians will want to know the duration, the scope, the rules of engagement, the level of intelligence sharing. Because national security cooperation must still respect national sovereignty. There is also the political timing. This development is happening at a time when Nigeria is already dealing with multiple internal security challenges: banditry in the northwest, kidnappings across several states, insurgency in the northeast, economic pressure nationwide. When external military cooperation expands during such a period, it naturally becomes a major national conversation. Some people will praise the government for strengthening international partnerships to fight terrorism. Others will question whether Nigeria is becoming too dependent on foreign intelligence and technical support. Both opinions will grow louder as more planes continue landing. One thing that cannot be ignored is the psychological message this sends to insurgent groups. Seeing increased US-Nigeria military coordination may act as a deterrent signal. It tells them the fight against them is not only local, but supported by global intelligence networks. But at the same time, it can also change how those groups adapt. Insurgent groups study military patterns. They react to surveillance increases. They shift tactics when they sense technological monitoring. So security operations may become more intelligence-driven in the coming months. For civilians in Borno and surrounding areas, the real question is simple. Will this improve safety? Will attacks reduce? Will villages finally experience lasting peace? Because at the end of the day, strategy and military cooperation mean nothing if ordinary people still cannot sleep safely at night. This is the human side of the story that often gets ignored. While officials talk about advisory roles and communication systems, families in conflict zones are thinking about survival, not geopolitics. Another serious implication is Nigeria's global security positioning. Stronger military cooperation with the United States also signals deeper strategic alignment. It shows that Nigeria remains a key security partner in Africa. That has diplomatic benefits, intelligence benefits, and military training advantages. But it also places Nigeria more firmly inside global security frameworks, where international interests and national interests must constantly be balanced. Right now, officials are controlling the narrative carefully. They are emphasizing sovereignty. They are emphasizing non-combat roles. They are emphasizing advisory support. That shows they understand the sensitivity of foreign military presence on Nigerian soil. Because history has taught many countries that once foreign military operations expand, public trust becomes a major factor. Transparency, communication, and clear boundaries become essential to avoid fear, rumors, and political tension. This is still the early phase of deployment. Planes are still arriving. Equipment is still being offloaded. Systems are still being set up. Which means what we are saying now is just the beginning stage of a larger operational framework. And that is why this breaking news is not something to overlook. This is not just about planes landing. This is about security strategy evolving in real time in one of Nigeria's most sensitive regions. And the true impact of this move will not be judged by announcements or statements, but by one simple outcome Nigerians care about the most. Will the Northeast finally become safer? That is the question that will define everything that happens next.
Northern leaders, northern politicians are on the run because of the presence of U.S. Army in the country. Let's look at the report. Now, U.S. officials confirmed that a military team has been sent to Nigeria, marking the first official acknowledgement of American forces on the ground. The first official acknowledgement of American forces on the ground since the U.S. carried out airstrikes against ISIS in Sokoto State, Nigeria. As we speak, northern leaders are on the run. Insecurity cannot survive in any community, in any place, without the cooperation of leaders. There cannot be insecurity, this kind of insecurity in northern Nigeria, if northern politicians don't have a hand in it. So as we speak, most northern politicians are under investigation. Most northern religious leaders are under investigation. Now the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is cooperating with the US secretly. With the US secretly. Now, it has been confirmed that there is a coordination between the Nigerian army and the US army on insecurity in northern Nigeria. This is going to spell doom for the north. There are implications, there are complications of this particular invasion. I call it an invasion. You see, the United States Congress is holding a session on allegations of Christian genocide in Nigeria. Witnesses are scheduled to testify before the House Foreign Affairs Committee. So the United States is not taking this lightly. It's not taking this with levity. It is a serious issue. When you look at Tinubu's government, he's strategic in what he does. You see, this young man is going to shock a lot of people. The Fulani Caliphate, the Sokoto Fulani Caliphate, I said it the last time. I said the Sokoto Fulani Caliphate would be designated a terrorist entity. Would be. That is my prediction. And most times we think the US, they have backed down. Mind you, we have the cooperation of Israel. Mind you, we have the cooperation of Turkey in this whole alliance. You might be doubting that why would the president go to Turkey? Turkey is a Muslim nation that it has been accused of sponsoring elements of terrorism, insecurity in some parts of the world. Turkey. But mind you, Turkey is part of NATO. Turkey is a strategic ally. You see, if you want to preserve your meat, give that meat in charge of the suspected thief. Let the thief be the ones be in charge. Let them be in charge of that meat. You see that thief will secure the meat. So what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing with Turkey is just trying to get them involved and appease the northern Muslim kakus, the Fulani northern Muslim kakus in Nigeria. You see, politics is complicated. I tell you, politics is complicated. Most of the people responsible for insecurity in northern Nigeria, most of them has been destabilized politically. Like I tell you, you cannot tell me that insecurity, the kind of insecurity going on in the north, the hands of politicians are not in it. You cannot tell me that politicians are not responsible. Politically, Tinubu is using the cooperation with the United States to his own advantage to displace them politically, because at the moment they are on their heels. Some of the investigations will not be made public. Yes, some of the investigations will not be made public because of they want them to save face. Some of these guys will be told in secret, negotiate like this, and they will relegate them politically. Tinubu has come to build for himself a political empire that will last for decades, even though he's dead. And he understood the assignment very well. When he came in as a president, he decided to eliminate the threat. In northern Nigeria, he knows the foundation of insecurity in northern Nigeria. He was part of the APC in 2015, 2014, when Buhari and co, Erufai and co, they brought in people to destabilize the government of Jonathan. He was part of the APC then. Now he knows and understands those and those that could be responsible for insecurity in northern Nigeria. Mind you, investigations are going on, names are going to be called. US on ground is going to, it is historical. It is historic. Since they gave back to me, since I know something in Nigeria, I've never heard that US sent missiles into the country. We are not at war, but a sitting president, like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a sitting president, US sent missile into Nigeria. And this is another time I'm seeing the boots on ground to actually fight ISIS. They brought in equipment. You know, most of these things that are being done is done in secret. There's many things you don't know about. The ones they are giving is the one you want to know. I tell you, there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a lot going on. Tinubu wants to overpower the cabals in northern Nigeria. Even though he needs foreign assistance to do it, he will use the foreign assistance. Now look at the relationship between Tinubu and the US. Tinubu and Israel. Look at the relationship. How would he benefit him? Politically, this relationship is going to benefit President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Politically. Because US is the person that can give them what they want. They don't care. Look at Syria president, a terrorist. Because he became president and he's serving the interest of America, America accepts him. A terrorist, though, America put $10 million bounty on his head. But yet, he's the president of Syria. America is supporting the government. And he has come to the White House. They invited a terrorist that they wanted to behead and kill, prosecute, to the White House. Tells you the intention. America is looking for people that will do their bidding. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a president has been able to take advantage of that relationship. You know, they talk about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, drug dealing, drug whatever. No, but US, we know that US have something they can use to hold you down. Northern Nigeria, they believe that they thought that this particular insecurity will destabilize the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Till now, we are having cases of killings, especially in Kwara State. 172 people killed. Let's look at it. 162. Death toll rises to 162 in Kwara massacre. Boko Haram butchers dozens overnight as helpless community mourn. This is just recently. And that needs the cooperation of the US so that they can be able to target these people. The network, Boko Haram network in our security system is too much. It's too deep. Yes, for them to be able to permeate military formations and carry out this massacre and go back and not being traced like in real time, like they do it in the next 1 hour, and we get the alert, we get there within that 1 hour, and we repel them and massacre them. That means there's a compromise somewhere in the Nigerian security apparatus. That is why when everybody tell me that what Tinubu is doing is partiality, this and that he's taking Southerners, he's removing Northerners, he's doing this, he's displacing the Muslim North, like Erufai. Knowing that if we don't displace some of these guys from the Nigerian military, because they are the link, these Northern Muslims, they are the link to all these terrorists. So far we have Northern Muslims in the Nigerian military, we will always have terrorists. This is the bitter truth. This one, not clear truth. I'm not here. I know that Nigeria as a country, we are not one. Everybody have their own agenda. Look at the last coup. Northerners, mostly Northern Muslims, want to remove the president. Before they now attach one Igbo man, one Nollywood actor for coup, Nollywood actor. They attach Nollywood actor. We have 98% of them are Northerners. Even 99% of them are Northerners. They want to attach Nollywood actor. Let's imagine that we have restructured Nigeria to regional system of government. Imagine Kwara State is being locked into the southwest. Let's imagine that. Do you think that the Boko Haram will be killing like this? Do you think that the Boko Haram will have the effrontery to be killing people? If Kwara has its own independence from this Islamic extremism. Somebody said something. This is as a result of Islamic extremism. We don't want Islamic extremism in a country called Nigeria. Nigeria would have been a better place, but because of the Fulani, because of the ideology of Islamic extremism, that is why we cannot have peace. An extremist living in a place is an antidote for trouble, hostility. For instance, you are in a compound. An extremist, Islamic extremist, rents a house in the compound. Don't you know that it is a matter of time that Islamic extremist will begin to cause trouble for the members of that compound? What do? They come to a community. They are looking at how they can Islamize everybody. And how do they do so? How do they do their evangelism? By fire, by force, by manipulations, by lies, by backstabbings. Most of these Fulani people that have their cows, they intentionally go to the farms of some of these farmers to cause problems so that they can come and kill the villagers. I tell you, there will be peace in a village, particular village. The Fulani will carry their cows intentionally because they have an agenda. They want to have an influence. How do they get influence? Most times, you see the villages that are being attacked by the Fulani, for a very long time, the Fulani starts occupying those villages. It creates an opening for the Fulani to enter the people and start living amongst them. Mind you, the Fulani are masters of deception. Fulani, they are masters of deception. So don't be carried away like they don't know anything. They know what they are doing. The ones that, if you see a Fulani that went to school, you know that Fulani, then get brain. These guys, they are a kind of human being. They get brain gun. For them to be able to maintain that agenda for hundreds of years tells you how consistent they are, how conscious they are in what they are doing. Look at what they are doing in Kwara State, Ilorin. Now, the Yorubas cannot muzzle up and face these guys because of the system. The security system is being polluted by some of these Islamic extremists. If the Yorubas continue to embrace some of these Islamic extremist ideologies, they are going to be experiencing these killings consistently. Now, in the southeast, you hardly find Fulani killings in the southeast anymore. You hardly find because they don't have any base. A Fulani man once said that if it is to conquer the Yorubas, to enter the Yorubas, it is easier for us to enter the Yorubas because we share something that is common, which is Islam. The same Fulani extremists, Islamic fundamentalists, they are trying to introduce Islam into the southeast by making some of the Igbo men is a leader of prayer in Abuja Mosque, an Igbo man, professor in Islamic studies, this and that. Islam is increasing. They are trying to permeate. Somehow they use, I don't know whether they use demonic approach in spreading Islam. So until we get rid of these people, get rid of extremism in the south, especially the corner, the middle belt, my brother, we will continue to see these killings. I have said it before. I will keep on saying it. Even the presence of the US and Tinubu as the president cannot stop insecurity in northern Nigeria. The only thing that can stop insecurity is restructuring. The only thing that can stop insecurity is restructuring. If you're not restructuring Nigeria, my brother, will live with the reality of all these killings. All these killings. Just look at 162 persons, and it is even rising. This is not the main figure. Although our Nigerian newspaper, they are saying it is 40. But now the reality on ground with pictures. Look at people lying helpless in their communities and home. And these are communities that share proximity with extremism, with Sharia. It is hard, very hard for you to see such massacre in a state that does not have Sharia. Hello? It is very hard for you to see all this massacre in a state that does not have Sharia. It is the introduction of Sharia and extremism that leads to all these kind of killings. Because extreme Islam, radical Islam, cannot stay in the same place with a normal Nigerian Christian doing his own normal thing, or traditionalist. Where you invite radical Islam into your midst, radical Islam will start taking the lives of people around you. These are facts. Invite radical Islam into your midst. Look at how the Fulani, the house has allowed the Fulani have taken over almost every area of their lives. There are more than 200 languages in northern Nigeria, but the Fulani has taken over. How did they do so? Using Islam. We are one Muslim brotherhood. Now the Fulani will make sure that they take over the very, 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 very important positions. Like the Sultan of Sokoto is the leader of Muslims in Nigeria, leader of Muslims in northern Nigeria. The Imams are mainly carefully picked by these Fulani people, overlords. They are there. Fulani is very well positioned everywhere, so that you cannot do anything. It is the Imams that are very powerful. It is the Imams that instruct the people what to do. If you go against the Imams, you have gone against Muhammad and Islam, and you have to be killed. That's how they run their package. So they will do everything they can to play that politics of putting the Fulanis in those positions of control. Fulani that is like 15 million, controlling northern Nigeria of over 100 million. Do you know how it works? So anywhere you find Islamic terrorism or Islamic radicalism, you always have Islamic terrorism. The Yorubas should understand that their greatest enemies is not the Igbos at the point. Their greatest enemies are the Fulanis. Yes. The Fulani want you to embrace Islam, telling you that Islam, we are all together, we are all one. But when it comes to making critical decisions in Islam, like in the body of Islam, being at the top leadership, the Fulani will tell you that I am greater and higher than you. In everything that the Fulani does, he sees every other Nigerian as a second-class citizen. I repeat, in everything the Fulani does, he sees every other Nigerian as a second-class citizen. Now look at politics today. Look at the alliance Tinubu had with Buhari. Without Tinubu, Buhari would not be where he is today. He would not be Nigerian president without Tinubu. Now, they had this alliance. Buhari became president, and they were doing as if they were this and that. There was this argument between Tinubu boys and Buhari's boys, ACN and CPC. We were saying that Tinubu contributed how many votes? How many votes did he contribute? But Buhari had 12 million votes to make sure that the merger won the presidency. Buhari 12 million votes. That's just what he said. But with the 12 million votes Buhari have been bringing, what did he achieve with the 12 million votes? You think that politics is only by numbers without strategy? Tinubu had the strategy, and he used that strategy to put Buhari in power. But yet, look at how the Buhari government and his boys treated the Tinubu. They wanted to exclude him from the primaries. They wanted to even arrest him and put him under lock and key so that he will not be participating in the primaries. They forged signature of the president then. That's what the Fulani, he doesn't see you as equal. He sees you as above you. You cannot be in the same level. That is their mentality. They don't even see the Hausas as equal. They don't even see the Kanuris as equal. If not that the Kanuris self then get their own strong head, they play their politics, they get their own unity. They could have conquered the Kanuris. Yes. Look at Northern Nigeria as constituted. The Fulani first, the Kanuri second, the Hausas, and every other person follow. Fulani first, Kanuri second, the Hausas, and every other person follow. So that's what they do. Look at the opposition today. The Fulani are the ones that hijacked the opposition. They are in charge of the opposition. Top guys in the opposition, they are the Fulanis. Whether you like it or not. Top guys that are saying that, okay, you know, Atiku and his boys, they have their base in Northern Nigeria. And those that control that base in Northern Nigeria are the Fulanis. That is the realistic thing. Those that control the northern base in Nigeria, from the coalition, so the Fulanis have hijacked the coalition, the opposition coalition. They're there. What betide me if they give Peter Obi this presidential candidacy? Then I know that I don't know what I'm saying. Peter Obi, a Fulani man will give Peter Obi, knowing fully well that Peter Obi does not have the money, the war chest to sponsor that party in the next elections. If the Peter Obi had the war chest to sponsor the party, whatever, I think the Fulani may say, okay, since you're not spending enough money, let's try and give him our support. I don't even think the Fulani will even give him genuine support. I don't think the Fulani will give a Peter Obi genuine support. All they will just do is just be doing abracadabra and wait for their turn. I tell you. So the biggest problem we have in Nigeria is Fulani introducing a kind of Islamic terrorism. They don't mind having alliance with other countries to make sure that they push their agenda in Nigeria, using Islam, radical Islam, to take over territories. Yes, using radical Islam to take over territories. As minute as small population as the Fulani are, they are very much influential in Nigeria politics. In the economy, they are very much influential. They are having very critical positions, even under Tinubu's administration. If the North is going to present their own candidate, you see Fulani, that they will food there. They have over the years mastered the art of using radical Islam to subjugate, put people in bondage, and take over their territories. So we are saying, these killings in 2026, this is just February. 6 killings, not just February. The other time, 170 persons were kidnapped. 170 persons were kidnapped. Despite the fact that we have security, we have overhauled, restructured our security apparatus. I think we need to do more. Maybe that's why US has to come in. If the politicians have the political will, will not be going this route. If the politicians have the political will not be running up and down, left, right, and center, trying to look what that does not lose. They know. Tinubu cannot tell me. Jonathan even said that Boko Haram is in his government. Yes, he could not open his mouth to call them out because he feel that they are powerful. He feel that if he had called them out, like the coup where they go carry out that time, would be successful. I tell you. Just this little thing Tinubu they do them. See how they organize themselves when they go do coup, when they move Tinubu. Just this little thing. Not to talk of say Jonathan can't expose them then. They go use coup, remove them sharp. I tell you. They will even silence Obasanjo. They will use coup, remove Jonathan if he exposes them. This is how powerful they. Tinubu will not tell me that he don't know the sponsors of Boko Haram insecurity in Northern Nigeria. It is just the political will. Now even US they try push everybody, most everybody, push, do this one, do that one. They are dragging their feet. Now people are dying. See, now only God in heaven, this God in heaven, now he go help Nigeria.